Inside Cave 17, the danger was not a collapse, a flood, or a hidden drop. It was something far less visible and far more difficult to explain. In 1956, during what was supposed to be a routine internal safety inspection, park rangers identified a specific hazard inside this cave, not once, but repeatedly, across different days and different teams. Yet when the final safety report was released, that hazard was nowhere to be found. It wasn't classified, minimized, or disputed. It was simply missing. Official records described Cave 17 as structurally sound, environmentally stable, and free from immediate danger. Dry passages, solid rock, no signs of erosion or gas buildup. That same document is still referenced today as justification for why the cave remains permanently closed. But private field notes, handwritten logs, and personal correspondence from that same period tell a story that never made it into the final report. And once you see the pattern, it becomes impossible to ignore. Before we go further, if you're interested in the stories that exist just outside official explanations, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. This channel focuses on what gets left out, not what gets repeated. Rangers entering Cave 17 during those inspections began noticing something subtle but consistent. Nothing dramatic happened immediately. No alarms, no collapses, no visible warning signs. Instead, the cave felt wrong. Breathing became heavier without physical exertion. Some reported mild dizziness. Others described an unexplained pressure in the chest or behind the eyes. The sensations would appear suddenly, then fade just as quickly. What made it more unsettling was that every instrument they carried showed normal readings. Oxygen levels were within range. No carbon dioxide spikes, no measurable toxins. On paper, the cave was perfectly safe. And yet, the human body was reacting as if it wasn't. These reports came from experienced rangers, not tourists or trainees, men who had worked in caves for years and knew the difference between anxiety and environmental stress. Several of them independently documented the same sensations in the same sections of the cave, particularly after prolonged exposure. Analog equipment used at the time showed minor irregularities. Compasses drifted slightly. Lantern batteries drained faster than expected. Watches lost time by seconds. Not enough to prove anything, but enough to be noticed. None of this was severe enough to justify an emergency closure, but it was persistent enough to raise concern. One ranger later claimed he attempted to include a section titled Atmospheric Irregularities in the preliminary safety draft. According to him, the section detailed the physical sensations reported by multiple inspectors and recommended further study before public access. That section never appeared in the final version. The explanation he was given was procedural. There wasn't enough verifiable data. The findings were considered subjective. Without measurable proof, it didn't meet reporting standards. But the irony is that the same report relied heavily on ranger observation for other assessments. Structural integrity, humidity, patterns, airflow behavior, those were all partially based on human experience. This one was different. It didn't fit any known category. And when something doesn't fit, it becomes inconvenient. Shortly after the inspection concluded, access to Cave 17 was suspended. Not temporarily, not pending review, completely, no reopening date, no additional testing announced. The public explanation cited preservation concerns and administrative limitations. Around the same time, several rangers involved in the inspection were reassigned to different locations. There were no reprimands, no public statements, no internal controversy that anyone would later admit to, just quiet transfers and silence. Years later, independent researchers reviewing archived National Park Service documents noticed something strange. The safety evaluation for Cave 17 was extensive, detailed, and thorough, except for one glaring absence. There was a gap where a detailed risk analysis should have been. References were made to non-structural considerations, but no specifics followed. It was as if a paragraph had been intentionally removed and never replaced. When former rangers were contacted decades later, most declined to comment. A few agreed to speak off record. One of them summarized it in a single sentence. "We were told not everything belongs in a report." Cave 17 isn't the only place where this has happened across protected lands. Similar decisions have been made when a hazard was clearly perceived but poorly understood. When something cannot be measured, named, or explained within existing scientific frameworks, documenting it creates a different kind of problem. Once it's written down, it demands answers. It invites scrutiny, and sometimes it forces responsibility. Leaving it undocumented keeps it manageable, or at least quiet. To this day, the National Park Service has never confirmed that an undocumented hazard existed inside Cave 17. They have also never denied it. The cave remains sealed. No updated assessments, no detailed public explanation, just a locked location and a safety report that tells only part of the story. Because what was left out wasn't a minor technical detail. It was a warning. And someone made the decision that it should never be officially recorded. If stories like this hold your attention where the most important details live between the lines, make sure you're resubscribed and leave a like. More of these are coming, and the next one goes even deeper.